Yes, teacher, I'm back.
Welcome again. I'm sorry
Thank
about
you.
this
No
disconnection.
problem.
Yeah, it's okay. Because Zoom only allows for 45 minutes. Later you
Yes.
you can upgrade and you start a new session like this. So we don't have more. We still have just a little thing to finish. Yeah, like this. It's like an interesting topic or interesting discussion. I like it, these things. So, Abdullah, you gave me some good points when you told me that the judgment depends on the kind of art that I'm going to criticize. Like this. So you can read this paragraph.
Making judgments, critics comment on works of art in many ways. In poetry, the critics look at the language the poet uses and how well this expresses what he or she wants to say. When discussing a painting, one critic may describe only the technique, how the artist painted the picture. Some
Yes.
critics think that the artist's life is important. One film critic will talk about how interesting the story of the film is, another will concentrate on how it was filmed, another may comment only on the acting.
Yes. So exactly the same you have told me before. So it depends on the kind of art. For example, in poetry, they focus on what? The poet,
On the language,
the language. Did he use a
yes.
good language? Did he express, I mean, his feelings in a proper way, in a good way, like this? But when we talk about painting, as we said, sometimes the kind of art or the piece of art that I'm gonna criticize,
Criticize.
yeah, it's a kind of painting.
One
Yeah,
critic may describe only the technique,
the
and the other may
technique.
describe the life of the artist.
Exactly. Some of them say that I shouldn't only focus on the painting itself. I should also read about the poet, about his history. Where is he from? Did he live in a peaceful area? Did he live in his own country? Was he dismissed out of his country? Yeah, and so on. So all of these things, do you think that these things are important and are they reflected in a kind of painting?
Yes.
How, in your opinion, for example, if he is sad or happy, if something happened to him in the past? Yeah.
I believe the artist reflects his life or his past on the form of art that he makes, if it was a poet or a piece of
Story
painting.
or novel?
Yes.
Yeah, you are right. Because sometimes when I draw a picture, I reflect my feelings. If I'm sad, this will be reflected in this kind of painting. If I'm happy, there will be something to indicate that. Yeah, like this. So, we talked about poetry and we talked about criticizing painting, and finally, we talk about criticizing films. In the films, they focus on what? The
On
story.
acting, story, and directing.
Yes, some of them concentrate or focus on what? The acting itself. Some of
Yes.
them focuses on filming. How can they take the videos? Some of them, no, I don't care about filming or videos. Just I care about the acting and the actors. Yes, some of them talk about or focus on the story of the film itself. Yes. So when I make judgments as a critic, this depends on what? This depends on the kind of art or the piece of art. Either it's a book, a painting, a film, a story, or a kind of any other kind of art like this. The last thing we talk about is the importance of critics. Abdullah, do you think that critics are important in our life? Should we
Of
need
course,
them? And
because they
why?
push the creators to improve their work.
Good idea. Yes. So they play a positive role in improving the kind of arts that we are encountering or that we are facing in our lives. But there is a problem, Abdullah. Sometimes there is a kind of bias. Do you know something of bias?
No, actually, I don't.
تحيز.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sometimes when I hate this poet or this writer, maybe I want to defame his picture. I want to
Mm-hmm.
criticize him in only mentioning the bad things or the negative aspects, and they shouldn't focus on the positive things. This is a big problem sometimes.
True.
Yeah, but as a critic, I should be fair. I should be fair. If something, if I'm criticizing something, I should mention the positive things and the negative things, the advantages and disadvantages, the pros and cons, whatever. So let's see how critics are important in our lives. So Abdullah, read the last one, the last paragraph.
The importance of critics. Critics are important in two ways. First, they can have an immediate effect on the success of a work of art. If a film gets bad reviews, people might not want to see it. Secondly, critics draw the attention of the public to new works. Critics help us have a better understanding of the arts. However, they cannot tell us what to think. In the end, we have to make up our own minds.
Yes. So as we have already said, the critics are very important in two ways, or for two reasons. Number one, for the first one, they can make an effect on the success of the work. Sometimes, this kind of work, if the critics made some bad reviews, people won't watch it. And unfortunately, this is will be a negative effect. تأثير سلبي. Yes. The second thing, they can draw our attention to some new works because, as you know, there are some wonderful stories, interesting novels, and good movies, but no one knows about them. How can we know about them? Critics can write some reports
Critics,
and show
yes.
us, yes. And this is a good thing because, as you know, we have thousands, hundreds of thousands of films, movies, stories, books, novels, short stories, drama, paintings, whatever. I don't have time to read and all of these things. Critics can show us what is good and what is bad, and this will save time and effort for us. Thanks. Thanks, Abdullah. Finally, there is
Thank you,
something,
teacher.
yeah, only one thing. The last thing. هذا مهم عبد الله. لازم نفرق
Yes.
بين اشتقاق هاي الكلمة. critic اللي هو الناقد. criticism بمعنى النقد الأدبي. criticize هذا الفعل بمعنى ينتقد. critical بمعنى انتقادي أو شخص. say this is a critical person. It means criticize everything. يعني ينتقدك في أي شيء دائما. شخص دائما يتصيد الأخطاء وينتقد الناس. خطير بمعنى critical. say this is a critical situation. إذا أتى إذا تحدثت عن شيء بمعنى خطير. تتحدث عن شخص بمعنى شخص كثير النقد. So we have some examples here. أحمد has his critics. عنده النقاد الخاص فيه. The new building got a lot of criticism. حصلت العديد من الانتقادات بسبب البناء، بسبب مشاكل فنية في العمارة في شيء. Stop criticizing me. Criticize بمعنى ينتقد. Yes. آخر كلمة اللي هي critical قلنا لها معنيين. هذا مثال. أحمد is a very critical person. It means he criticizes a lot.
Criticize things.
A lot.
Yes.
Yes. critical بمعنى خطير أو جدي أو مرحلة حساسة. The game has reached a critical stage. وصلت إلى مرحلة خطيرة أو مرحلة حساسة أو مرحلة مهمة. In 2 minutes. So this is just to focus on what's the difference. I send them to you in the chat box, and we end our lesson. And I'm sorry, Abdullah, that it took a long time.
No, not at all. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you soon.
Thanks, Abdullah. This is just it's something easy for you because your level in English is excellent. So it's a kind of discussion with you and getting the idea. يعني الفائدة من درس اليوم اللي تركز عليه. In this lesson talks about famous play by Shakespeare. If this came as a kind of text, like a passage or reading in the exam, just you should have an idea about vocabulary or something. The other story or other thing, critics, focus on this part, as we said.
Teacher, is my exam different from the other students?
Yes. For the art students, all the questions are the same, except the last question. السؤال الخاص بالتعريفات يختلف نوعا ما فقط. آخر سؤال.
But we have the exam at the same time.
Yeah, at the same time. But also the difference for you, you get like the reading part. It's like literary test. You know, literary test.
Yes, اختبار أدبي.
نص أدبي. Science section, they get like scientific text. نص علمي. The reading. And also some differences in definitions. تعريفات. راح نسوي مراجعة إن شاء الله. أتمنى تحضرها عشان تكون مراجعة لكم الكل العلمي والأدبي. Maybe tomorrow or after tomorrow as a maximum. Like this. Yes, Abdullah, thanks. I mean for discussing all of these things with me. If you have time, we want to. Yeah, in the workbook you do art number 6 and art number 4.
أستاذ بس عندي سؤال لو سمحت.
Yes, Abdullah.
بعض الدروس إحنا الأدبي يعني ما